Picture a single human 2 million years ago, standing alone on an open African plain. No claws, no fangs worth the name, a jaw that can barely crack a nut, skin so soft a thorn bush can open it. It can't climb like a chimp, can't bite like a leopard, and in a flat sprint almost everything out here, the antelope, the warthog, even the hyena, leaves it behind. By every measure that matters in a fight for survival, this animal is a joke. That animal is your ancestor, and its descendants own the planet. Not despite the weakness, because of it. Start with just how badly built we are for violence. We have no natural weapons. Our teeth are flat and blunt, made for grinding, not tearing. Our nails are useless. Our top speed is slower than a charging goat. We can't see in the dark, our sense of smell is faint, and our babies are born so helpless they can't hold up their own heads. And then they stay dependent for more than a decade. No other predator on Earth would trade places with us. We are slow, soft, and almost defenseless. So how did this soft animal win? The first answer is the strangest one. We didn't get faster, we got tireless. We are terrible sprinters and almost unbeatable over distance. Stand a human next to a horse, and the horse wins every short race. Make them both run for 2 hours in the midday heat, and the human walks away while the horse collapses. The reason is temperature. A galloping animal cooks itself from the inside, and it can only cool down by panting, which it cannot do while running flat out. We can. We stand upright, we carry almost no fur, and our skin is covered in millions of sweat glands. We are one of the best long-distance cooling machines in the entire animal kingdom. Our ancestors turned that into a way to hunt. Pick an animal far too fast to catch, then simply refuse to let it rest. Every time it bolts away and stops to cool itself, you arrive on foot, and it has to run again before it has recovered. You don't outrun it, you overheat it. Hours later, it staggers, its body failing, and a creature that could never win a chase walks up and finishes the job. Anthropologists have watched hunters in the Kalahari do exactly this within living memory. Run an antelope to death across open desert with nothing but their legs and their patience. Then we picked something up. We are the only animal that can throw hard and accurately. Watch a chimpanzee throw. It's clumsy, slow, barely aimed. Our shoulders evolved to load up like a slingshot and release that energy in a whip. A trained human can hurl a stone or a spear fast enough to kill. Suddenly, the weak ape could hurt things from a distance it would never have survived up close, and it almost never threw alone. Because the real weapon was never in our hands. It was the fact that there were always more of us. A lone human on that plain is food. A band of 30 humans, throwing together, shouting together, surrounding a much larger animal from every side at once. That is the most dangerous thing on the savanna. We never became strong. We became many, acting as one. A lion is powerful, but a lion doesn't plan with the other lions, ration the kill so everyone eats next week too, or send word of the migration to the next valley. We did. The cooperation was the clause. And then we did something no animal had ever done. We cooked. Once we controlled fire, we could cook our food, and cooking is a kind of digestion that happens outside the body. Heat breaks down meat and roots before they ever reach your stomach, so you burn less energy pulling far more calories out of every bite. That had a hidden consequence. A raw food animal needs a huge, expensive gut to grind through everything it eats. A cooking animal doesn't. So our intestines shrank, and the enormous energy budget that used to run a giant digestive system was freed up and rerouted to the one organ that would make us unstoppable: the brain. It is about 2% of your body weight, and it burns roughly a fifth of your energy. You cannot run a machine that hungry on raw leaves and termites. Fire paid for it. We quietly traded gut for brain, and with that brain, we built better tools, better plans, and better stories to hand down. That last part is the real secret of the whole thing. We didn't just cooperate, we inherited. Almost every other animal starts from scratch. A new lion has to learn to hunt nearly from nothing. A human child is handed 100,000 years of accumulated tricks for free. How to nap a blade, where the water hides in the dry season, which plant heals and which one kills, before it can even speak in full sentences. And that long, helpless childhood we mocked earlier, it turns out to be the whole point. It's the download window. A decade of being weak and dependent is a decade spent absorbing everything the group already figured out. The body stayed weak. The shared mind kept growing, generation after generation, and never had to be reinvented. But cooperation has an enemy, and it is the strong individual. The moment one powerful person can hoard the meat or boss everyone around, the group stops working as a group. So our ancestors did something remarkable. They policed strength. In hunter-gatherer bands studied all over the world, the surest way to be mocked, ignored, and finally pushed out was to act superior. A great hunter who bragged got teased until he stopped. The whole machinery of the group was tuned to keep anyone from rising too far above the rest, because the band only survived as long as it stayed a band. We didn't just tolerate equality, we enforced it. Add it all up, and you get the strangest apex predator that has ever lived. Slow, soft, and weak, but tireless, able to kill from a distance, with a brain swollen on cooked food, carrying the knowledge of the dead, bound into a unit that hunted and shared and defended as one. We never won the lion's game. We threw the game out and wrote a new one. We outsourced strength, to fire, to tools, to our own patient legs, and above all, to each other. And here is the part that should land. 300,000 years ago, our species was not alone. There were other kinds of humans walking the planet, some bigger, some stronger, a few with brains as large as ours. Every single one of them is gone. We are the only kind of human left. And when you look at what actually survived, it was never the strongest body in the room. It was the one best at belonging to a group. You are the descendant of the weak ones who stuck together. That instinct you carry, the need to be included, the cold drop in your stomach when you're left out, the pull to share, to be liked, to belong, that is not a flaw in you. It is the oldest tool we have. It is the exact thing that beat the lion. The powerful animals had their turn. Most of them are gone, or clinging to the edges of the wild, or living behind glass in our zoos. The weak ape that learned it could not survive alone inherited the earth. And you are still running on that strategy. Every single time you reach for someone else.